Hi, guys. Welcome back again to another episode of Mind Renovation Nation. I am your host, Nathan Bush. This is the show where we talk about all things small multifamily real estate. So, if you are a small multifamily real estate investor, you are not going to want to miss today's show because we are going to be talking about this here. Red flag number 2, the bad market. Red flag number 2. If you're wondering, Nathan, what happened to red flag number 1? Uh, During the Mind Renovation livecast over the next series of livecasts, I'm going to be going through a book that I have been writing. Yeah, that's a big announcement for today's show. I am writing a book called Small Multifamily Mastery, the 35 red flags you need to know before you invest in small multifamily real estate. And this is red flag number 2 from the book. And so if you'd like a copy of the book, you're happy to reach out to me. I'm looking for people to go through the book right now before it's officially published, before we send it over to the editors. But this is red flag number 2, the bad market. And so today we're going to be learning all about the bad market. And I don't know if you know this or not, but real estate is predicated on the fact that you understand and know what to do in order to achieve success and high levels of results in the real estate investing world. And so that's what we want to do today. We want to cover a number of different things, and those things that we'd like to cover today are these. Let's talk about them. The first one, unstable environments. We're going to talk about unstable environments today. How do you recognize them? How do you identify them? How do you know what they are? Number 2, market red flags to watch for that will help you identify those unstable environments. So instead of talking about how to find hidden gems, which a lot of other real estate coaches and trainers and speakers will teach you about, we're actually going to teach you about what are the problems, what are the bad things to stay away from. And that will help you what not to do, right? What should I not buy? And so that's what we're here to help you go through. And then we'll also talk about evaluation and due diligence. Yes, we're talking about these types of bad markets. I'll pull it up here a little bit larger on the screen for everybody to see. This is the type of market that we're talking about, the rundown markets, the bad markets, the post-apocalyptic markets. Yes, I use that term a little loosely, but here's why. We are going to talk today about the post-apocalyptic market. And so what is a post-apocalyptic market? Well, pretty easy to identify and understand. That post-apocalyptic market is similar to, have you ever heard of the famous TV show The Walking Dead? If you have, then you'll understand what I'm talking about with post-apocalyptic market. The famous TV show Walking Dead was about a zombie apocalypse and what would likely happen in a zombie apocalypse. And there's a number of different characters in The Walking Dead, and the main character's name in this show was Rick Grimes. Rick Grimes was known because he just had this innate ability to kind of decipher and think through things before rushing in and just taking on new communities, new opportunities, new different things that were going on. And one of the things that he was able to I think, just discern was kind of before he went into something, kind of understanding what are kind of the economic conditions in this culture. What are the population growths look like in this culture? How are they getting resources and taking care of things in the culture that he's about to enter? And what is it going to cost him in order to enter this culture, whether it was by force or by friend? How is he going to enter this culture in a way that was going to be most productive, and help him achieve survival during the zombie apocalypse? And so Rick Grimes famously said these words. He said, "We are the walking dead." And this quote carries profound meaning that can be related to these unstable environments in real estate investing. In the post-apocalyptic world, the Walking Dead survivors face constant threats, guys, of danger and uncertainty, and they were forced to navigate through unstable and unpredictable environments, much like how real estate investors might encounter a challenging market. And so when investing in real estate, it's essential to recognize the potential red flags in unstable conditions that might exist in these specific markets. And just like the survivors in The Walking Dead, investors need to be cautious and vigilant in understanding and conducting their evaluation and due diligence and research to mitigate the risk associated with real estate. If there's one thing about me that you might begin to understand and know as we go through these different red flags and we talk more and more about real estate investing, you might begin to realize that I try to offset your risk. Remember, guys, my primary concern as a property manager is to reduce your risk, reduce your likelihood of losses. And so I want to make sure that as you're investing in real estate, you understand what some of the potential risks might be and what might be considered high risk versus what might be a tolerable risk. And so the quote, "We are the walking dead," serves as a reminder that in unstable environments, investors must remain vigilant and adopt quickly to these different changing conditions that happen in markets and be prepared for unforeseen challenges. Before doing so, you've got to navigate the uncertainty. Before making the investment, you need to navigate the uncertainty and ultimately find success in your real estate investment journey. So, Rick Grimes famously said, "We are the walking dead," right? And what was he specifically talking about? I think that he was referring to the fact that no matter where you go, all of the challenges are still there. It doesn't matter what you're walking into, that when you walk into those issues, when you walk into those different environments or challenges, you bring with you all of the challenges that you personally have. Remember, I've said a number of times on this show that you can't be bigger on the outside than you are on the inside. And so whether you walk into a picture perfect environment, you still got the dead inside of you. Whether you walk into a brand new environment, you still got the dead inside of you. And if you take it from a completely psychological perspective, you got to kill the old you so that the new you can thrive in these different environments. So, and what are we talking about environments? We're talking about market trends, guys. Market trends refers just to the general direction and pattern of the real estate market and behavior over time. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about market trends, and market trends impact property values, they impact rental rates, they impact the demand for rental real estate. And so understanding market trends is crucial for making informed investment decisions. Look, market trends are influenced by a number of different factors. What are these factors that influence market trends? Have you ever sat down and thought about this? Before you invest in real estate, have you sat down and thought, what are the factors? What influences are there on market trends? And so there's a couple of them. Number one, there's economic conditions. So if you're concerned about the success in investing in real estate, you might need to understand the economic conditions of the local market that you're investing in. And driving that market really does have an impact on helping you determine whether you want to invest or buy in that market. The second thing that you might want to pay attention to is the population growth in a specific market. Is the population growing or shrinking? See, a growing population has higher demand for real estate, and the shrinking population has lower demand for real estate. And so that might tell you a little bit about what's going on in that market. How about the job market? Can people actually get access to resources and jobs, and can they grow themselves? And then, what are the current economic interest rates? Unfortunately, that's something that plays a huge factor into whether you're investing in real estate or not. All right, so we've talked a lot about the unstable environment and understanding what that unstable environment might be as a real estate investor as it relates to your market trends. Remember, red flag number 2 is the bad market. And so we're trying to help you identify what are the bad markets. Right frame of mind, zombie apocalypse. Understanding going into each market as though you were exploring different communities and new ideas. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Let's look at the market red flags that are out there, and let me help you better understand the market red flags. So here you go. The first one to watch out for as you're driving into a community is overgrown and unkept landscaping. This indicates poor maintenance, potential structural issues, and pest or additional damage that you'll have to clean up later on. I'm not just talking about one house, by the way, as we go through these market conditions. This isn't one house with overgrown grass. As a matter of fact, if you just have one house on a great street that's all been overgrown, what does that tell you as an investor? So there you go. You know, there was a time, this just got me thinking. There was a time one of my friends asked me about what he should do in a situation. And my answer to that question was, well, what would happen if you don't do the thing you were thinking about doing? And that has always served me well in helping me to make good, truthful, solid foundational decisions in my lifetime. What would happen if I don't buy this house? And so that might be a good question as you're looking at houses and you come across some with overgrown grass. All right, that's surface level. Let's go a little deeper. Here's another sign to watch out for: broken windows or boarded up units with signs of vacancy or past issues with vandalism and crime. Okay, so why are broken windows or boarded up windows so important? Well, if you've got one property with boarded or broken up windows, but the rest of the properties on the street look so great or so nice, might it be that that investor doesn't have the resources to take care of their property? Now, if I have multiple properties with boarded up windows, what does that tell me about the market? It might tell me this: that the investors have difficulty coming up with the resources to invest in that market and to take care of their property. Well, if you don't take care of your property, what's going to happen to the tenants? You're going to have higher vacancy. Higher vacancy leads to what? Vandalism and crime. So, broken or boarded up windows is the second thing, that the signs that you should kind of watch out for. Here you go. Here's a little bit deeper. So one of the next things, in addition to overgrown grass, broken or boarded up windows, could you imagine this house, by the way? You drove past, you see, first you notice the vacant grass, then you notice that there's a bunch of busted and boarded up windows. Then I want you to look for this: peeling paint or visible exterior damage on the property. This points to lack of maintenance again, lack of property management, lack of potential control to that property. There might be potential water damage or structural issues going on again with that property. And so peeling paint or visible exterior damage is a major important sign as to whether we want to invest in a specific market or not. Now, again, we're not talking about one property. I think that a lot of times when I start teaching about this and talking about this in a number of different groups and clubs, people often say, well, the opportunity's in that one property that's on a great street. And I can agree with that. I can agree with that. The problem is when every property on that street tends to look just like this, and they're peeling paint and busted windows and overgrown grass. My question is, do you invest in that property? All right. Next, another sign to look out for: cars parked on the lawn or properties that are in despair. This suggests poor property management and possible tenant problems or zone violations. And so, from a property management standpoint, you can tell whether this is a good area or a bad market to be in based upon are there cars parked on the lawn. Here's another one. Here's another sign to watch out for: graffiti and sign of vandalism. Again, one building with graffiti, okay, maybe you can clean that specific building up and now you have a profit center. However, multiple buildings all over the place in the market with lots of graffiti, this might indicate a lack of security in the area and potential high crime issues. How about this red flag here? How about this sign to watch out for: excessive litter or debris in the yard. This shows poor maintenance and a lack of care for a community. And it shows that the tenants lack care in that community. And so I urge you and challenge you to not just drive the streets, but drive the side streets and the alley streets and pay attention. Is there a lot of trash in the area? Are people actually taking care of the property? And if they're not, the first answer is it only one property that's like this and doing this much problem, or is there a lot? And this right here tells me a lack of property management presence in that particular community. All right, here's another sign to look out for. Now, this is an often overlooked sign The overlook sign that I have found in management that people will invest in is communities where there's a lack of lights at night. And so, question: how many of you right now that are watching this live cast, whether you're watching live right now or on replay, let me ask you, how many of you have driven your properties at nighttime? Why not? What would happen if you don't drive your properties at nighttime? What would happen if you do? And so, are you invested in good markets? That's my question. Invest in good markets, and these are market red flags to pay attention to. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about evaluation and due diligence. This is where the magic of successful real estate investing begins. On this slide, I'm going to highlight the importance of conducting thorough research and analysis before making any decisions on real estate. Real estate investment is not just about your gut feeling, guys. It's not just about the gut. It's about being informed and being strategic in your purchasing decision. During the evaluation process, we need to consider several aspects, such as the location, your market trends, the property condition, the financials, the local regulations. We got to do thorough due diligence. Due diligence allows us to get a complete picture of the property and identify those potential risks or hidden issues. By conducting property inspections as part of your market due diligence and research, these property inspections verify the condition of the property and help identify potential risks and hidden issues. Don't buy a property without driving the property. All right. Conduct property inspections and verify tenant history. Tenant history. So not only do we want to drive the property and verify the condition, but we also want to verify who's living there. Do you got a complete application before purchasing this property? Do you know the screening reports and what you're actually buying as far as that tenant? Do they have verifiable income, and what has their income been? This will help you make an informed decision. Remember, we don't just rely on our instincts, we rely on data, research, and professional advice. If I had any advice I could give you in order to help you become more of a successful real estate investor, it's this: rely on data, research, and professional advice. Fill all of that in with your gut feeling. So, let's talk about this. Let's talk about due diligence and evaluation. Evaluation and due diligence are your critical steps in investing in real estate. Before committing to any property, make sure you're conducting this research and make informed decisions. Evaluate the property's location, market trends, and potential for growth. Analyze the property's financials, income, expenses, and potential ROI. I'm going to take a second here and say, I have worked with a number of investors, and they all have spreadsheets, okay? They have spreadsheets. But the spreadsheets are what I call the dream. They're the ideal scenario, the fictitious pie in the sky of what they think might happen based upon their lack of knowledge and experience. And I previously said that you need to drive the property, walk the property, do conductive research, and help yourself have a better understanding of what you're actually buying before you buy it and how much that's going to cost. Once you do that, then you can put together the financials, the income, the expenses, and potential ROI. A lot of people do this backwards, and they think about they try to put numbers to paper based upon a purchase price without actually doing the research first in the area. And that's a problem. When you work with a professional, like a professional property manager like us, we can give you a lot of trends and inside information. You know, what's the average turnover cost? What's the average renovation cost? What's the average renovation cost per square foot? What's the average maintenance cost per room? What's the average ongoing maintenance cost? These types of things help you to be able to put together an even more tight budget and help you understand your investment decision. So many investors want to make the numbers work. Instead, you got to make the numbers work for you. And that's what I talk about when I talk about analyzing property financials, including income and expenses, and driving your potential ROI on those properties. Consider the property conditions. So the potential repairs and renovation costs and local regulation and zoning laws that might impact the property. I'm going to tell you right now, there's different municipalities throughout the entire St. Louis area. And for some investors, Different municipalities work well, and other investors, different municipalities don't work so well. It's according to your strategic plan on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. And it doesn't work well if your local municipality has got challenges on getting occupancy permits, and then you're trying to put tenants in those properties but can't get the properties passed on inspection. So if you don't understand the relationships with those local municipalities and what they're looking for and what they're trying to achieve, then you might have difficulty as an investor evaluating and doing your due diligence, because there might be additional costs that you weren't even aware of that are based upon different municipalities. And by the way, this municipal inspection concept that's in St. Louis, that's been here for years, it's not only in St. Louis. If you're investing throughout the rest of the country, it's wise to contact the local governments and ask about occupancy inspections and have a thorough understanding, because that concept of occupancy inspections for tenant occupancy permits is expanding across the entire United States. Conduct property inspections to identify hidden issues, verify tenant history and rental income, and perform a comprehensive analysis, risk factor, and market stability. There we go. So like I said, to recap, kind of evaluation and due diligence on these markets so that you can avoid the red flag of the bad market, make sure you seek professional advice and consult with experts, at least experienced professionals, during your due diligence process. I put this together for you guys today just to have a better understanding of the stereotypical cost of a turnover or a make ready. Um, that's not necessarily applicable in all of these different situations. This is more of an industry standard than it is a red maples cost of vacancy. But I do want to share with you paying attention to vacancy cost and how important buying in a good market where we can find tenants quickly at the right prices is to maximize revenue. So here you go. If your rent's $1,000 average rent and you have 2 months of lost rent and your make ready cost is $5,000, that's already $7,000 in cost, guys, to turn a property. Now, in make ready costs, those might be higher, those might be lower. It just depends on your individual property and your tenant and how well they took care of the property. This is, again, a fictitious scenario to help you understand the cost of vacancy. Then you have occupancy inspections, lawn mowing, any other types of holding costs on that property between that and the utilities. Then if you're going to run a promotion in order to move a tenant into your property, you also have new work orders. And if you have a property management company in St. Louis, you're likely to pay $1,000 in commission to get that released. And so that $1,000 vacancy a month ends up costing you about $10,000 to get a new tenant in there. If you can't buy properties in good areas that tenants are going to stay long term, you're going to have this problem on a regular basis. All right. So, what is the point of today? The overall arching point of today is to be cautious. Be cautious in the markets. Don't go to bad markets. I'm telling you that the red flag number 2 is to be cautious of these bad markets. I think it's extremely important that we do our due diligence, that we evaluate these properties properly, that we understand what signs to look for, what things to look for on different properties that are going to tell us the signs and signals of whether this is a good area or a bad area. Reminder that if it's on one street, that is one property on that street that's a problem, then that's understandable. But it tells you the economic conditions of that property based upon the things that we walk through today. And if you think about it from an overall apocalyptic standpoint, which is a worst case scenario, this is, in apocalypse, it costs you your life if you make a bad decision. It tells you to walk into everything with extreme caution, because in addition to the market that you're entering, you bring with you the Walking Dead. And with that said, guys, I appreciate you joining the show today for Mind Renovation Nation. If you like this show, if you like this content, share a comment. Put a comment in the thing, something you learned, something you could take away from the show today. In addition to that, please subscribe on YouTube. Please tell other people about it on the Facebook. We do these lives just about every Friday. as long as I don't have some traveling or something that I'm doing that pulls me away. But we do these live casts every Friday, and we'd like you to join Mind Renovation Nation each and every Friday to get your small multifamily real estate investor knowledge. Again, subscribe to the YouTube video, comment about something you learned today, and share this on Facebook, guys, with your friends and family. I appreciate the time that we spend together. This is about you. This information that we put together is about helping you achieve your small multifamily real estate investing goals. Again, I am Nathan. I appreciate the time that we spent together, and you guys have a good weekend. See ya.